Good morning, Robbie.
Good morning, Christine. How are you?
Good. I got an email that you were waiting to get in. I'm going, man, I'm usually 5 minutes early. This woman's earlier than I am.
Oh, I was doing other things. I just sort of got on and.
Well, you found the new link. That's what I'm curious to see how many people get confused because they don't, they didn't realize there was a new link, even though I tried to make that really clear, but you know how that goes.
Well, I thought you made it pretty clear, so. I'm also enjoying the other things I'm getting from you about leadership.
Oh, good.
I appreciate that a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. I try to make them real short because nobody has time to read a long tome of wisdom, but just little ideas. And if you ever have something you think I should write about, let me know, because I have a list of ideas, but I get ideas from the people I talk to.
Oh, great. Yeah. So how has your summer been so far?
Oh, nice. It's very nice. It took us a while to get to the warm weather part that I moved to the valley from the coast. But now that it's here, it's like, my husband says it's supposed to be 90 degrees. It's going to be really hot. And I'm like, Of course, down in Lakeview, it's probably even warmer, right?
We know it's in the 90s and it'll be in the 90s forever, but it's such a nice dry heat and it cools way down. So the mornings are wonderful, and so it's nice.
Oh, good. Oops, Mimi's here. Here she comes.
Good morning.
Hi, Mimi.
Good morning.
How are both of you?
Good. How are things down in Roseburg?
Oh, they're sunny and not too hot yet.
Yeah.
Which I like.
And here comes Sonia from Newport. Hi, Sonia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, here comes one of our guest speakers.
Ooh.
Carly Cruz is here. Hi, she's joining us from Ashland, Lithia Springs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And you guys meet really early, right?
Yes.
So you've been up for hours.
Yes. I not only was our meeting at 7. I had to make our breakfast, so I was there at 6:30, which meant I had to be up at 4:30. So
you have to make the breakfast for the meeting.
We do potlucks.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And then do you have it at a venue where you can just bring your own food in, or how do you do that?
Yes, we have it in a church fellowship hall right now. We had previously had it before I joined. We had it at a City of Ashland facility. I think it's no longer available for some reason. Maybe some earthquake retrofitting or maintenance required. But yes, we're at an area where we can bring our own food, and
that's good. Except for the part where you have to get up early at 4 o'clock to make it. Ew.
Well, that's part of my comments. Is the things we do for the causes that we are dedicated to and we want to support. So
isn't that true?
Yeah.
Right.
Here comes Ray LaMarche from Springfield. Oh, Mark Miranda, another one of our speakers, and John Scarborough, another one of our speakers. I noticed I had 2 from Ashland. What's with that? Good morning, Mark.
Great.
Good morning, Ray.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Janice. Janice. I keep thinking I know, and then anyway.
I'm not using video today because I'm bedridden and I'm not gonna show you all my unmade up face.
Okay. Good morning, John.
Morning.
All right, well, I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes for the stragglers to come in. You guys all get a bonus prize because
Oh,
you read the note that says there's a new link. And
Yeah,
you made
right.
it here.
there's
I'm
a
just-
new link.
Yeah, because I always use the district Zoom site account. And now they want to verify that it's really a Zoom, a district person. So then they email a verification code to Jim Polk down in Cave Junction. And then by the time he gets the code back to me, it's expired anyway. So I'm using my own. And I know I can use this forever because it's mine.
I just pushed the button. I didn't read the small print.
Well, at least
worked.
you pushed the button. I was just saying that to Robbie that she actually read it. Mitch Allen is from the state of Jefferson E-Club, so who knows where he is. And Ray, you've been spending a fair amount of time at the Riverfront Festival. You're muted.
I've only been there one day to visit, but I'm going this afternoon and Saturday as a Rotary
I'll be there
representative.
Saturday. I think you're on my team.
Saturday noon to 4.
Yep.
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 Yeah.
Good morning, Mitch. If you don't know it, there's some games going on in town here in Eugene.
Oh,
Pretty
Good morning.
exciting. Got half the streets closed and it's all kinds of chaos.
I'm not even getting near downtown at all.
Well, I live in Cottage Grove, so I kind of skirt it.
yeah.
Except for Saturday, I've got to go to the Riverfront Park, which is a brand new park. It's beautiful. They reclaimed the riverfront, which is how Eugene started.
Mhm.
And then it turned into a trash heap and then kind of the ghetto of Eugene. And then they reclaimed it. And now it's this beautiful park and they really did a nice job. Oh, here comes 3 more people. People that are right on time. Don't you love it? A minute. Okay. And nobody's emailed me that they can't find the link
That's good.
or texted me. I am so impressed with the brain trust in this group. Good morning, Marv.
Is it Denise who's laid up?
Janice, yeah.
Janine?
Yeah.
I fell last Monday and broke my kneecap.
Oh,
Oh,
ouch.
Yes, I'm ouching.
oh, well, you just lay low and heal up.
Yeah, not good for a brand new president.
No,
Haven't
thank
been to one
heaven for
meeting yet.
Zoom.
If we're sharing injuries, I just broke a rib here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man,
What'd you
that
do?
hurts.
I have, since I was as small as I can remember, rode a bike. My first fall in a new bike was just 2 weeks ago.
Ouch.
You know, and you don't bounce like you did when you were a kid.
Ain't that the
Well,
truth?
actually, the words my wife said.
Ow. Okay, let's see. We got 1 more minute. Then I'm gonna get the party started. Okay.
So what are the sporting events? Is that a like track and field?
Yep, yep. And they got people from, I think, 200 countries. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ray. I look at you as being the, the person that would know the details.
I don't know the numbers. What I do know is, for those who are unaware, the World Athletic Championships take place every year. This is the first time they've taken place in the United States. So it's a really, really big deal to have them here in Tracktown, USA. Huge, huge.
And they usually take place in big cities, Paris,
Yes.
Tokyo, and then Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah.
Where's that?
I have to say, I was watching the marathon yesterday and they had the big screen television there. So at the same time, we could really see the highlights of our city. It was absolutely beautiful. We showed so well to the world with our greenery, our river, the path that had been done. I was so proud of us as it was being shown to the world. It was great.
Yeah.
And I think we're the only, other than like Travel Oregon and Kaze Beer, we're the only service group that is down at the Riverfront Festival. We've got Rotary videos on the large screen at the festival. So in between events, excuse me, the mind isn't functioning well here. In between events, they put those up. I saw one for Rotary Scholars. I know that our human trafficking one is supposed to show on there. I haven't seen it, but I haven't been down there for that great a length of time. Met Galen Rupp.
Okay, I gotta cut you off.
Oh, nice.
I'm done.
I gotta cut you off. This is about introverts, and I noticed the introverts among us haven't said much. They're the quiet ones. The extroverts are like, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk right through the whole hour. And the introverts are going, yeah, I know. So let's get this started. We're going to talk about introverts, and we have 3 guest speakers today who pretty much got arm wrestled into, volunteering. Actually, Carly volunteered, and then John sort of did, and then Mark didn't. And I said that meant that he did. But let's look at a few slides just to kind of get ourselves thinking about introverts versus extroverts. And when I say a few slides, I mean like I've got 2 slides or something. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The reason that I thought this was such a good topic is when I was in the same leadership academy that Marv was in. Is it Academy or Institute? I always get those mixed up. In about 5 years ago, and we were talking about who's the friendliest club, and everybody was, of course, the friendliest club. And we were talking about how we knew we were the friendliest club, and it was because we have all these huggy, feely, squeezy times at the beginning. And I remember 2 women said, "I hate that part of Rotary." And that always stuck with me, that, Rotary is kind of built around extroverts in some ways. And we need to really think about that. So we want to be an introvert friendly club. Why? Because half of the population are introverts. So let's look at just 3 basic differences between these types of people. In social situations, extroverts find them exhilarating. They can talk for the whole hour, right? Introverts find it draining. It's work to network. It's work to participate in these big social events. They do much better one-on-one in smaller groups. And when it comes to speaking or reacting, extroverts can talk without thinking. I'm saying that because I am one. And introverts like to think first. There's a thought, it's probably a good idea. And we need people like that, because to save us extroverts from going off the deep end. And extroverts prefer to work in teams, in groups, because they like that social interchange. And introverts do well working alone. They don't have that social component, and they can work just fine. So, whoops, Steve Mathis just showed up. Okay, so let's not share the screen anymore. And let's let our 3 guest speakers. Carly, I think you volunteered to talk first. You're going to just tell us what it's like being an introvert in an extroverted world.
Sure. And one of the reasons why I volunteer is because in my profession, I'm a lawyer. We have this same issue and these same discussions going on, and they're very important. And for the continued sustainability of our Rotary clubs and the missions, it's very important that we continue to make sure that we do not exclude people who otherwise would be very loyal and would be continuing our club's mission. So my experience, kind of along what Christine says, as being an introvert, how I fill my bucket is by being alone. If I'm getting drained, it's not that I'm antisocial or I don't like hanging out with other people. It's just when I'm tired and when there are people, things just drawing energy from my bucket, I need to draw back in order for it to be filled. So that causes a problem sometimes when, then I'll just jump to the leadership part of it, where if I'm having an active week as a membership committee chair or other leader within the club, sometimes getting up, kind of what we discussed earlier today, sometimes getting up for a 7 a.m. club is not going to refill the bucket. So one of the things that we do at our club is we are pretty forgiving with attendance. There is some discussion about how forgiving we need to be with attendance right now, and there is some push and pull right now with, well, why would you be a member of a club that's a breakfast club? So the key thing is, like, introverts join Rotary or clubs and do these things for the bigger mission. We do it in spite of how our bucket, some of the aspects of Rotary kind of drains some of our buckets. And those, I can say that those members are the most loyal and most committed to the bigger mission of the clubs, and the most willing to hang on when things get tough. I mean, again, there are times where I need to pull back, where I say, you know what, I am just not going to be a very good Rotarian in the morning. I will be a much better Rotarian if I can sleep in. So I'll back up even further. I'm jumping around quite a bit. I apologize. I joined Rotary because I joined Gold Beach Rotary specifically. It's a smaller club, and it's kind of like watching Double Dutch, waiting to jump in, waiting to see what Rotary is like, what kind of activities Rotary does, and if I'd be a good fit. So it was a few years of just volunteering with Rotary events, but not being a member, to getting to know Rotary first before ultimately deciding, you know what, I like what you're doing. I want to help as a member. It's time. When I moved to Ashland, I had this discussion earlier today. I became a member very quickly as a transfer. I knew no one. As soon as I became a member, I got pulled to 3 different activities right after I was given my badge. and one of them, it was actually physically pulling, and that didn't sit with me very well. All of a sudden, I'm now a member, I am being told what to do, instead of letting me get better idea of what the club is like. So after that, until we shut down for COVID, I kind of sat in the back and I didn't talk to anyone because I was afraid and I was getting a little overwhelmed about those interactions, and I wanted to have that Double Dutch feeling, like, okay, where can I jump in at, and where can I be useful? So I spent a lot of time observing, and what's the best thing for me was one member always came back every morning and said hi and followed up with me about something that he remembered about me. Whereas everyone else was just kind of talking around me. And it took, after COVID and even watching people through Zoom, I got to know people a little bit better, but still it was very much like I'm waiting in the back. And I volunteered to be a membership chair in part because of that, because if we want more people who are committed to the bigger picture of Rotary, we need to develop our systems to accommodate everyone. So With our membership committee, what we do is when we haven't seen anyone for a while, we do one-on-one outreach. We don't, and we have our system set up to do that, where someone contacts the membership committee, one person calls. If that one person isn't successful, then we contact the club sponsor who that person should have a better connection with, to see what's going on and how we can incorporate them into how this could be a good experience for everyone. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Without any conversation, I want to just shoot through all three of these people and hear what their perspective is. But I got some really good notes out of what you said, Carly. I think we'll probably talk about that. John, you were the next one to volunteer.
Yeah, so that's evidence that I may have progressed beyond my introvert status some time ago, volunteering and not being, anyway. I am between the two. Basically, I am an introvert, but I learned a long time ago that I really benefited when I forced myself to do what wasn't expected of me, or what I didn't expect of myself, to do something in a different way. The world just turned out to be different than I thought it was. In Rotary, it's been like that for me, in that I have not felt particularly inclined to join committees or form fast friendships. But I also found very soon, I joined the morning club back in 2002, 2003. I quit because my job was taking me away too much. I wasn't around to do much. I didn't feel good about that. But when I retired, I wanted to spend time in Ashland, working, getting to know people, getting involved in projects, understanding what city council is doing. And that's, I am still doing that. And this present assignment as president has really been, I feel like I'm clawing my way up this very steep ridge, at least, if not a mountain. But I'll make it to wherever I'm going. One of the things I've noticed about introverts versus extroverts is that I don't think anybody is, it's not black and white. You're not either an introvert or an extrovert. We all have, I think we all have degrees of each. And we also respond sometimes to events in our lives. It could be personal, it could be a climate disaster, it could be World War, whatever. We respond in ways that we're not even conscious of, and we emerge as someone quite different than when we started. And these can be a birth in our family. If somebody has a child, their life, they may become a different person. It could be marriage, it could be all sorts of things. And we're not isolated. I mean, as much as an introvert might want to be alone, he's not really, he or she is not really walled off from society around them. They're always, there's always a connection. That's another thing that I've noticed in Rotary, that some people, I think some people have joined because they do not want to remain introverts. There's even some medical studies that have been published showing that if you want to have if you are involved with people in your old age, which I guess it used to be anyone who's 10 years older than me, now I think I have to drop that a bit. But if you want to be healthy, you should be connected with people. You should be meeting with them. You should be having coffee with them. Just do it, because if you don't, you're going to deteriorate mentally. There are some critical functions in our brains that thrive on this social contact of any kind. I used to, in my introverted years, I thought the greatest thing would be to live in the wilderness in a cabin, read books, and occasionally drop into town for supplies. I thought that would be fantastic. When I was a kid, that translated as being a forest ranger, watching, one of the fire towers. I figured out pretty quick that was, I mean, when I had a chance to do that, I didn't want to do it because you're on your own. You don't have anybody who can help you if you get into trouble. There are little things like that that open an introvert up to the rest of humanity. And it's another thing I thought about was there's a term called inverted introvert. And this is a very valuable idea. It helped me understand what an introvert and what an extrovert is. An inverted extrovert is someone who is, they thrive on their interior landscape, how they react to people. They're not very interested in getting to know that person, but they would like to know, they want to form an intellectual framework within which they can fit this person. That introvert goes out into society. He may become curious. He may want to learn something, but he looks at it through the lens of through his introvert lens. And so he projects that framework that he's formed inside, his understanding of the world, onto the world outside, rather than just opening up to that world. An extrovert, according to this view, tries to understand. There comes a time in everyone's life, it's usually in their 30s. I'm thinking of Carl Jung. That's where this idea comes from, about when you need to look at your inside. It happens. You begin to think about, death seems much more real. Personal relationships are valuable, and so you need to be more solid in who you are. You begin to think about things like integrity, or anyway. So at that age, if you are an introvert and you begin to think about, if you are an extrovert and you begin to worry about what's happening inside me, you may join a club or a religious group or something like that is going to help you make that switch, because you haven't got a clue anyway, and you know it, or you don't have enough clues about what you might be doing that would save you from being destroyed by social situations. So they're both possible. It's not quick. I'm sure it's the same thing, about there being a spectrum, that some people do this easily and some people, for others, it's very difficult. But if you are an introvert and you look at the world through your introvert lens, it may take a long time. It could take years, it may take the whole life to be able to really understand the world that is outside you. And if you don't get started soon, you don't have any chance of getting close to it. So anyway, coming back to Rotary, I think Rotary is a fantastic instrument for both of those. For the extrovert who wants to understand more about themselves, for the introvert who wants to understand more about the people, especially, and I'm just basing this on experience in the last few years, it's especially effective when people of all different kinds get together, work on a project with hands-on. The hands-on part is crucial. If it's just everybody sitting around taking notes and delivering papers, getting together and picking out the best idea and then publishing something, it doesn't work. But when you're with someone and you're all reaching out for the same roll of tape or twine or the bag that you're getting the toys from to put into backpacks for the kiddies, you've got to face the person that's next to you. And it may turn out that person is really a nice person, especially in Rotary. There's something common. We have something in common. We don't always talk about it, but this service above self and 4-way test, these things are gold.
Yeah.
If we really, not embracing them in a religious way, but try them out. See what happens. You can identify someone, at least I think I can sometimes, in Rotary who does that. They are outstanding.
Thank you, John. I want to give Mark a chance to talk, because he's prepared quite a speech.
I'll mute myself.
No. But I won't. I want to do a little quick summary of what I heard everybody say, and then I'm sure we're all getting some information about this. But the idea that we're all It's a continuum. We're not one place on that scale. And the other thing is that we need all these different kinds of, I teach personalities. We need all these personalities. We need both introverts and extroverts. Mark, tell us about your experience.
Well, seeing that I'm an introvert, I was going to ask you what I should say.
No, you're a deep thinker. Introverts, I already said, they're deep thinkers. So you've already given this some thought. I know you have.
Well, we'll see about my thinking process. The tack that I kind of took for this is that people coming into the club for the first time, new members, I think they're all introverts. Because they're coming into something that's strange. They're coming into something that they don't know anything about. There's a whole bunch of strange people in there that they don't know. And so I think the average person just kind of sits back and waits to see what happens, to get swept off their feet within this new program or this new club or whatever. And in our club in Newport, we're cognizant of that, and we want new members to become involved. And so we've started a thing that when a new member comes in, they get a welcome packet. And the welcome packet is a whole bunch of information. It's got a letter from the president. It's got the Rotary International president's message. It's got information about the foundation, a little bit about our club. And another thing that's in there is a little form for them to fill out. It's called the sponsor program. This is basically how do they get from a red badge to a blue badge. And there's 10 items on this thing that they have to check off. And it all kind of comes into getting them more familiar with the club and trying to induce them to participate a little bit more and thus kind of get rid of that introvertedness or the lack of what's going on idea. It's stuff in here. It says meet with your sponsor, because we have a sponsor or a mentor that's assigned to the person, so they have somebody to go to if they have questions. Meet with the sponsor, download the club app or DACDB app, earn and submit an online makeup, serve as greeter for the club 3 times. That gets them to have to stand up there and shake people's hands that come on in the door for the meetings, and just gets them to introduce themselves to more people in the club. I don't know if this is a good thing or it might be a bad thing, attend a club board meeting. That might scare people off, but we make them do it anyway. Participate in a hands-on club project. We just did basically a cleanup around the bridge a week or so ago, and just fun projects like that to get them more involved. We had the dolphin drop over 4th of July, and get new members involved in putting that on, and then it says attend 4 Rotary activities in 1 calendar month. And that's not necessarily just meetings, but we have other activities going on. Like tonight, we're having a social hour at the newspaper that the newspaper is hosting, and it's kind of a happy hour, I guess, and just a very social event to get to know people and to get to know the community a little bit more. Then there's secure committee assignment and meet the chairperson. That gets the new member directly involved in part of the program of our club. Then bring a guest to Rotary, and the last one is attend a new member orientation meeting, which we call the ABCs of Rotary, and that's put on maybe quarterly or so. So it gives the more people more idea of what's going on with our club. And all this put together, you know, it all of a sudden takes the person that may be introverted or shy, gives them the tools to become less introverted and more outgoing and participating in the club, which is the main thing for what we're doing. And that's about it for me.
Well, thank you. You can tell Mark was a Toastmaster. He didn't need to be cut off. He knows his, in Toastmasters, they teach you to do table topics where you talk for 2 minutes and you're graded for talking over that 2 minutes. Not that these were 2 minutes, but
you said 3 minutes.
I know. But you talk, or you just stretched it out. Thank you three for doing this. I think we got something from every single one of you. Let's go around the proverbial room, the Partridge Family matrix here, and talk about what resonated with you. And if I can, well, let's let a few people pop in and volunteer to say what they heard or what resonated, but then I will ask everybody eventually to speak up, but I'll let the introverts give it a second to think about what they want to think about. So anybody want to volunteer something?
It's Mitch.
Okay.
I've been in my younger days an introvert. I was a forester, so I didn't have to worry about working with other people. I just worked with Mother Nature. I started supervising some people, and that was a change for me. And I was asked to be a Rotarian. And I thought, wow, that's a great way to know my community. And I thank Rotary very much for bringing me out that box.
Yeah.
Eventually from forestry, I went into property management where I had 1,300 tenants and 60 staff people. So I could not maintain that box environment. And Rotary helped me a lot in doing that.
Thank you. And I see Sonia, you have your virtual hand up. So let's hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, this topic was really something that's near and dear to my heart. I have always been a really strong introvert, and it's funny because it's a topic of conversation among our friends. And we just last week was talking to some of our friends, and I was telling them that one of the things that I've always said that you can tell if somebody's an introvert or an extrovert is how do they recharge. So, you know, you talked about, you know, being invigorated in groups, kind of the same thing. Do you recharge by going home and reading a book or being, you know, in quiet time, or do you recharge by going and sitting in the Starbucks and having people around you? And so I know I've always been an introvert. I have changed a lot, and John had mentioned that how, you know, a major life event can really change you, and maybe that's what tips the scale. I was just interviewed for a magazine yesterday, and we talked about Rotary and about how my life has changed since this life event, which was having cancer. And you know, I talked a lot about I'm a totally different person coming out of that than I was before, and I shock people now when I still identify as an introvert, because I probably really am no longer. And Rotary, and I talked about this in the interview yesterday, Rotary definitely helped me get out of that. So I agree with everything I've heard.
Oh, thank you. That's and I see there's a virtual applause even for you there. Ray, you've got your hand up.
Yes, first of all, I also grew up very introverted, very afraid to say anything in any kind of a public setting. And then I became a teacher, and you have to become extroverted, but people think, oh, you could never possibly have felt introverted. But I still do today in many situations, particularly in social situations or large gatherings. When I go to things, I have a hard time. I force myself to reach out, and people think that's just natural for me, but it's not. So we do have to remember that not everybody is openly what they really feel inside. I'm kind of like that duck who appears calm and cool on top of the water, but it's paddling like hell underneath to keep my social outlook the same. What did resonate with me, however, and I'm the PE of my club now, we do practicing Rotary at the beginning of every meeting, of course, where you're supposed to go around and say hi to everybody, da, da, da. We've changed it for COVID, where now we wave at everybody. But even so, I am thinking that I would like to shift that a little bit so that people at a table can just interact with others at the table only. They don't have to get up. They don't have to walk around the room. They don't have to shake hands or bump or fist bumps or anything else. I had a boss who would start her meetings with one good thing. Didn't have to be about anything about work. It could be at home, whatever. And it was awesome because you could talk about just something that was good for you personally. And we would get all the way around before we'd start our meeting. If we just set time for that and said, share one good thing that's happened to you, and then you can share it later in happy books or whatever, but it allows that introvert to maybe get to know the person sitting across from them better, rather than just going around and being the social butterfly, and you don't really learn anything about anybody. So that is sort of what I heard out of Carly, not assuming everybody wants to hug and kiss and all of that other stuff. So that's my thought for the day.
Thank you. That was good, Ray. Marv, you've got your hand up.
Thank you. I took myself off of mute.
Yeah.
This was interesting for me because I wanted to see from other people around the district what they are doing that we are not. And in listening to Carly and also to Mark, there was a similar theme. Carly said that she wanted to be more comfortable getting to know people, so she attended numerous meetings and just to kind of get the gist of what's happening. Mark indicated a strange environment. So because of that, I think what our club does is first impression is the most important. And for that, we do everything that we can that when someone walks into the room, whether it's their first time or not, that they feel energy, that this is not, it is a strange place, but it's not, because it's friendly. And if it's friendly, it's not that strange because you feel more comfortable. We just inducted a person who is probably the most introverted person I've ever seen in our club. Her sponsor said that the way and her sponsor is also her boss, said to get her involved in an activity. And when she gets involved, she'll open up. One of the things that we do, which kind of goes with Carly's concern, is if someone comes into the club and say, yeah, I want to join, we won't let them join our club. We said, there's a process that you have to go through because we want to make sure that, one, you're comfortable and that our members are comfortable with you and this is the right fit for you. So we require them to be at least 3 meetings and 1 event, okay, before we can even go any further. Then after that time, we say, you've attended, meetings. We've had one person attend 6 meetings before they were ready to say, yes, I'm really interested in the club. Once someone says, yes, we are interested, then we have an hour sit down with that person, we being myself there and the president or president-elect or some other person. And we basically create that 1 hour as, we just want to talk to you about what the club's obligations are to you, And we say that first, and then what your obligations to the club. And we really sit down for an hour. In the last maybe 5 months after that sit down, 2 people thought that maybe this club wasn't for them, which is good because we don't want someone to join and then, quit 2 months later, which happened 4 years ago, which is why we started all this. Then at the time, after that hour meeting, we asked them again, well, if you're still interested, then we go on to the next stage. And that next stage involves coming up with 2 surveys of things that they might be interested in and things like that. I was interested in Mark, where he has a welcome package. That's pretty much like our mentor program. And I know 2 people about a month ago asked me for the mentor books because of a lot of things that are happening. I haven't done that, but it's on my radar now for the next week, and I will send those mentor books to the 2 people that asked for it. I think it's really important to get people involved. The other thing we do is that when we have a new person coming into the meeting, we assign 1 club member for each member to kind of take them around, make sure they sit at another table, just to make sure that they feel comfortable. And it's been working for us. Thank you.
Good, thanks, Marvin. Seeing no more hands up, this is the time where you can unmute yourself and hop in. Steve, our DAC-DB guru, he's going to be the program in 2 months.
So I'm also an introvert, but there is a process. You're always an introvert, but if you repetitively do things, you put new wiring in your brain and you become kind of a hybrid introvert. And so I have no problem performing or speaking in front of people, but I still like to recharge on my own, go on a hike in nature or something like that. That's how I recharge. But I'm perfectly comfortable in large groups now. And it's just, if you keep at it, approach things that you're not comfortable with and just force yourself to do with them, after a while, it's fine. And we can help people with that, especially younger people who come into our clubs that may be introverted. Rotary is just a great way to help them overcome those hurdles. And you can advertise that. I mean, Rotary, above many other organizations, is an easy way to do that. I will say one thing is that if you get an introvert who's conscientious, they make great subcommittees of 1. They work great on their own. You wouldn't want it in a committee where you have several people, but if you have a subcommittee, a task that you need to get done, and you have a conscientious introvert, put them on it. They'll get it done.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of introverted members are treasurers of the clubs, right, Mark? It's a job that you don't do as a committee, you do it on your own. But I think we have to use caution thinking of introversion as a hurdle to get somebody over. I think that introverts might think extroversion is a hurdle too, that they just want to slap us sometimes. But I think there's a middle ground where we need both ends of the spectrum, and we need to honor both ends of the spectrum and learn to work together. Oh, Carly.
Thanks. I second that. If we come, I could say, like, I'm never going to get over being an introvert. I'm just going to be mindful of what my strengths are and what my weaknesses are. And so if we come across like, this is a bad thing and this is a trait you should be overcoming, you're going to lose members. And you're going to dissuade people from wanting to join Rotary. I think it circles back to a discussion we had before about meeting our members where they are and seeing, okay, why. And Marv, you were great, or your suggestion about having a 1-hour meeting with a person is great. This comes back to why you join Rotary, what your goals are, what you can contribute to the club, and where we can where we can steer the person so that they'd be a good fit. We don't want to have someone, an introvert like me, doing all the party planning because that will be one way to lose a member very quickly. Especially when it's a new member who might not know, okay, what have we been doing in the past? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to call? That it's exhausting. So, and Ray, you brought up some great points too about, you know, how with recharging and knowing that, you know, these social events, we want to do them, we do them, but if a big time commitment is demanded, and if there isn't enough gaps between different Rotary events and different Rotary obligations, then sometimes that person can get overwhelmed and not like being a member and kind of being, and that's what we want to avoid, getting back to meeting our members where they are and where we can use everyone's talents.
Good summary. Mimi, you're waving at me.
I just want to say that this has been so helpful for me. On the flip side of what the introverts are saying, I often feel I'm too much of an extrovert, and I've tried to, you know, bring that tone down a little bit, and I just haven't been able to because I get so charged when I'm around people. And I owe all of you introverts, including my twin brother, an apology because I haven't been sensitive to that, to even know who is, if you know what I mean. And it's yeah, it's been educating. I just thought my twin brother was letting me talk all the time. I didn't know he was introverted. No, it's something that I think it's good to have both, as it's been said before, and if we can come halfway, and if those of us that are extroverts can be more aware and more sensitive to those that aren't. I appreciate this. And again, I apologize. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, who hasn't had a chance to speak? Raymond.
All right.
And Jill then next.
It's hard to know who's what until they admit it. I have found in our club that some of the people that are the most quiet actually are not introverts at all, and definitely vice versa. But in the introverts I have spoke with, it seems that the stand up and circulate around the room for fellowship is really difficult. But it's such a tradition, we do it. But I've talked to some members that just find that just absolutely painful. They're comfortable doing that right at the table. So I took notes of that, and I'm going to bring that up today, actually, in a few minutes at our meeting.
Good, thank you for sharing that. I think that sometimes one thing I've learned off of Zoom meetings is, and I haven't done it today, but I haven't done it on purpose, is to have breakout rooms where you're talking in smaller groups. Smaller groups, just like a table, is easier for an introvert, or just one-on-one is easier for an introvert than talking with in a whole social, let's all have a party here. Yeah. I see Sherry's got her hand up. Did I cut you off, Raymond?
No.
Okay. Sherry's got her hand up.
Hi, so I'm an introvert too, which is why I never have my camera on.
I was gonna say, you just turned it on to speak.
Yeah. But joining Rotary was such a great experience for me, and it was a long time ago. And I've been president 2.5 times, and I'm president-elect again, because they make it so easy. They're so friendly, and so it's so easy to be yourself. But everything Carly says, absolutely yes. If you give introverts the patience and the time to come around, that's important. This has been a really good meeting. I really appreciate everyone's input. It's really nice to be here.
Well, I think it's a good topic to talk about, just to be aware of, you know, we all have something important to contribute, and how we recharge doesn't matter as much as that we have time to recharge in whichever way we need to. Jill, you also waved at me.
Oh, well, I've just been sitting back listening, which is really strange for me because I usually charge forward like a general. But what comes to mind to me after our meeting this morning is the diversity of Rotary. We need everybody's personality, talents to make our clubs viable and successful. And I mean, can you imagine having a whole club of one personality? It would be a disaster. And I love Carly's analogy of the jump rope. And it immediately took me back to elementary school and sitting there waiting for those ropes to come. But if you give people a chance, they will find something that they are just drawn to. However, having said that, I don't think a little helping hand hurts. There are certain people that just won't initiate anything on their own. And not that you have to push them, but be that mentor that calls, invites personally to different things, maybe sits by them. And, you know, a lot of my introverts at the meetings will get there early because they're very dedicated, but then they'll pick a table that's empty. And so, you know, as we fill up, of course, you know, everybody sits with everybody, but initiate that sitting with that person. Get there a little early and sit with one of the more quiet members. So that's my thoughts.
Good thought. I haven't heard from Janice or Rebecca or Robbie.
Well, definitely, I am an introvert. And
well, I figured the three that haven't spoken.
And, you know, I agree with Carly. I agree with Ray. It takes a lot of effort. Not that that's a bad thing, but you just need to have the time to recharge afterwards. And sometimes it's a day or two, you know, because we believe in Rotary. We put ourselves out there, and it's just who we are. But when we first joined Rotary, we were offered the opportunity, not told, but offered the opportunity to spearhead a project. And it was probably one of the best things that they could have done. It got us involved with the community, and it's got us involved with the club, and it made all the difference. And it was a small task that my husband, myself, and our daughter could do, the three of us, and that was perfect.
That's an interesting thought when you give an introvert a task that involves somebody they already know. Then that's not such a stretch, possibly, than to here's three new people, now go out and conquer the world. You know, it's just a little more overwhelming. Janice, I think you maybe were ready to say something.
Yes, I don't have much to say. You're right. I'm an introvert, and I am now the president of our club. And of course, I broke my knee, and I haven't, you know, been acting like a president. But I just so appreciated all the information that I got today. I really think that, you know, as a president, I need to lead the way in that, you know, and make sure that those introverts are welcome and the extroverts are welcome. And so I just really appreciated this training today.
Good. You guys are good at training each other. Rebecca, are you within hearing range? Do you want to add anything? If so, unmute. Okay.
Sorry, I was actually listening to all of this. I'm in my car.
Okay.
So it took me a second to unmute. It's very interesting, and I think they're all really good ideas. I would love to see his mentor book that he gives to new members. We have a very small club, so don't have the option of, picking and choosing like he does, having people come. And I think that's great. We've got 3 new members, I think, this year, but we only have 11 people in our club.
What club are you with?
That's a little bit different. We're in the Klamath Falls Sunrise Rotary, the morning club. I think when I joined it, we had about 30, but people moving away and retiring. And so we're down to, just a small number, but we're mighty. We're getting, we get our things done. So.
Marv Kaplan is the one that had the, the mentoring packet, and he's with the Redmond Club. And if you look him up in DACDB, I'm sure he will, and email him, he'll send you that. I'm also interested in letting you know that Mark Miranda is from the Newport Club, and he was talking about the new member welcome packet, which is interesting to me as well. Has a letter from the president, just a few things there that were, I know introverts like to go away and read things, it's a little, you can do it in solitude and you can absorb it at your own pace, and it's not so blah, 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 blah. So that's another good idea. But some of the things that I want to summarize that I got out of, Carly said that if we're excluding introverts in any way, we're excluding some of the most loyal Rotarians. And they join Rotary in spite of their introversion. And so that just to take that step, I don't think extroverts give them credit for just how hard that must be. They're committed. They don't want to be told what to do, and they appreciate one-on-ones. So those are some things for extroverted people. Of course, I'm singing to the choir here. I see us, and even myself, when I go to district events, I will not stay in a room with another Rotarian. I usually go get an Airbnb. I'm off premises. I have to go have my own space to recharge. That's really important to me. Then when I come back the next day, I'm the little social butterfly. But then I got to get away and just exhale. So I think we're all in that continuum somewhere. John said that there's a benefit to forcing ourselves to do something that's uncomfortable. And I like to say, just stick your toe in the water, give it a try, claw up that mountain. And that whole idea about being an inverted extrovert and an inverted introvert, I got to check that out. That just piqued my interest. Yeah. Because people do join because they want to conquer, like Steve said, conquer that shyness, and Rotary is a great place to do it because we're all real friendly. And then finally, Mark, you hit the nail on the head. We're all introverts when we first come to Rotary. When we first join Rotary, we're all the new kid on the block, and it's scary. So having our welcoming process be introvert friendly as well as extrovert friendly is really important. And as leaders, whether you're the club president and you're an introvert, self-identified introvert, or you're an extrovert, just being aware that there are two extremes there. Everybody falls in the middle somewhere, but make sure that we're not just doing our job with our own personality style in mind. We have to give room for everyone to grow the way they want. That was my wrap up. We have 3 minutes left. I do want to save one of them to tell you about what's coming up. Got a couple good programs coming up. So anybody want to have one more thing to say? Mark, you just adjusted your glasses. Was that? You're not even going to unmute. Okay, well, that tells me something, doesn't it? Anybody else? But you all muted yourself. Okay, well, there you go. The next two meetings are something that are generally not thought about as membership oriented, but you know what? In Rotary, everything's membership oriented. So next month, we're going to be talking about the district website. How many of you know, by a show of hands, that the district has a new website? Okay, about half. I would implore you to check it out. The old district e-newsletter that used to come out and remind you a week ahead of time about things, programs coming up like this, isn't there anymore. You have to go into the website and subscribe to the news feed. And it's really cool, you guys. I'm not gonna, it's a change, and it's like, oh, we gotta change, but it's a good change. It's an evolution. So Dan Smith will be Zooming in with us and talking about the new website and how to get signed up for the newsletter and those kinds of things, because communicating with our peeps is what Rotarian leaders need to do. However that is, we need to be able to communicate. The month after that, Steve Mathis is going to come back. Well, he might even be here next month, right, Steve? You're muted, but I can read your lips. but he's going to come back and talk about DAC-DB. And are we using it the best way we can? Do you know how to P-mail? Just some of the highlights. And so think about what you want to know about DAC-DB, because we'll be here to answer your questions. But for now, it's 11 o'clock, you guys. Another hour whipped by. Ray, you got one more thing?
Yeah, no, it's a question because this is the first one of these I've attended. Are they always on the third Tuesday of the month at 10?
Yep, and the Zoom link I sent you is always the same. So just put it forward on your calendar, set it as a monthly event, and you're set.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep, and I always get you out by 11, so it is 11. Bye. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. How do I get out of here?